Happy 4th of July, everyone. Escape Your Cubicle here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We just had an earthquake.
6.4 magnitude that we reported that happened just after 10:30 a.m.
What? We just had there was just a 6.4 earthquake about an hour ago, 10:30 a.m. on 4th of July. It was actually in California, somewhere between Barstow and Ridgecrest, out in that area, which is, I don't know, probably about 150 miles or so, maybe, from Vegas. Maybe less than that. I don't know exactly, but yeah, we felt it here in Vegas. I definitely felt it. There were a lot of reports that people were feeling it around the Las Vegas Valley. I was actually down on the Strip. I just dropped somebody off doing an Uber, and I was completely stopped at a light. And this is, like I said, this is about an hour ago. My car, I started to notice the car was shaking. And I look around at the trees to see if it's really windy or gusty or something, and the leaves are barely moving on a couple of the trees. And usually you can feel that a little bit, your car moving around if it's really windy and you're driving on the freeway, but I was completely stopped. I wasn't on a bridge or anything like that, so it wasn't like the bridge. Some of these bridges, they kind of, you can feel them shifting slightly, your car kind of feels moving. But I got that disorienting feeling, and it crossed my mind for a second, like kind of like an earthquake is going on right now. But since moving to Vegas 2 years ago, I haven't felt any earthquakes, and it's pretty rare out here. They happen, but it's pretty rare. So anyway, the car is shaking, and what it felt like was if you had like a couple of people in the back seat screwing around, going like this, you know, shaking the car, where your car's shaking pretty good. And I'm looking literally like around the car to see if someone was screwing with me, pushing with the car or whatever, because it was shaking pretty good. And I look around, I don't see anybody reacting. But I'm like, okay, my car is shaking, I don't know what's going on. Went for about 15 or 20 seconds, I want to say, and then it just stopped. But the thought did cross my mind, like, could this be an earthquake? Because I can't think of anything else. I don't know why my car is shaking. I stopped to see if turn the radio down, see if anything sounds weird with the car. So yeah, that was pretty funky. Initially, I've heard like there wasn't any injuries reported. I jumped on CNN. It was a headline on top story on CNN. There was a 6.4 earthquake out there in California, and there was some damages over there around the epicenter. But luckily, that's not a really heavily populated area between Barstow and Ridgecrest. So yeah, pretty interesting, pretty strange. So happy 4th, everyone. As for me, the amateur, I'm going to head over back to home base area. I think I'm going to try to jump into Red Rock Casino, check out the poker room, and maybe play a little bit of 1-2 no limit hold'em in there for a while before heading off and going to family gathering and see what's going on. So there's a bunch of smoke out there over the mountains. I don't know what that's all about.
Before it hits the sticker.
Round deck 1-8.
FE for 2-4, FE 2-4 limit.
6. Oh, that was here.
Not so great over here at the poker room. Been playing for about an hour. down about 40, 50 bucks. Lost with pocket queens, lost with ace king. So keep it going, see what happens. Try to do something, put something together. All right, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4th of July still, and poker session is over. We started at about 12:30, leaving at 3 o'clock. Not so good. Another poker session where I was getting some pretty decent hands. I got pocket queens 3 times. I lost all 3 of those pots. I controlled how much we lost, which was good. Never flopped a set once. There was always an overcard. There was a king overcard twice. Once there was an ace overcard. We got blown out after seeing a turn on both of those with aggressive bettors. Could not improve, couldn't improve the draws. Made one big hand where we had deuce 5 of spades. Deuce 5 of spades, and the flop was a 3-4-6. And the guy was bet into us all the way, had less than us, but he ended up putting all in by the river. So we took his whole stack. But it wasn't a huge stack. It was like about $60 on that pot that we won profit. So that was nice, but not good enough because of those other pocket pair losses. Got pocket 10s back to back just now before I left. Lost both of those. Raised it pre-flop both times to $8. Got callers, multiple callers both times. And both times we weren't able to make the winning hand. Flopped an open-ender on the last one, let out for 15 and was jammed on for like 150 bucks. So can't call there with just an open-ender. Maybe with an open-ender and a flush draw, but not just with the straight draw. Nope, can't do it. And yeah, another one with our pocket 10s, we called. A guy was, we were leading. There was no overcards, and we were leading the whole way. And then on the river, the opponent let out for 25 bucks. And the board was dry. The board had nothing. The board had missed everything. So what are you going to do? We've got to call that down. We called that river down. I mean, it was pure rags on the board. The guy had a 5-8. He had flopped a 5 and an 8 rivered. So he made 2 pair on the river. So you really can't do anything about that when you have pocket 10s and you're leading and you're getting called all the way to the river. Unless you jam all in with 10s, but that's not too effective. So anyway, bottom line, we bought him for 160. We did manage to cash out some chips. It cashed out 102. So it definitely could have been a lot worse, but it's still a red loss. We're in the red, so that's not good. But you cannot win every session, even if you can play perfectly and not win every session, obviously, in poker. So not that I played perfectly, but I feel like I played pretty good, pretty straightforward. I made some laydowns that were proper. Made one of those big laydowns with top pair, top kicker, and the guy did show that he had the trips. So minus $58 today. That's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing if you're a subscriber. If not, click the subscribe button. I do videos on Uber driving, living in Las Vegas, and being an amateur poker player, amateur Uber driver, and all that good stuff, amateur vlogger. So hope everybody has a good, happy 4th of July, safe. Don't have any fireworks blowing up in your hands. Don't do any of that crazy stuff. So be safe, have fun, don't overdo it. You don't want to have a hangover tomorrow unless you don't have to work and you don't care. So that's it. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
And what they told us was that this is an earthquake sequence. What happened yesterday was, it turns out, a foreshock for today, which was a much bigger quake, ranking at 6.9. And they are not ruling out that there could be a bigger tremor or a bigger quake even after this. They say it's an ongoing sequence and that this is a strong one.
be a tiger's claw coming out.
Right there.
I see the claws.
Do you see it, Grandma? No.
You don't see the claws?
Uh-uh.
I do.
We gotta go.
I
Back to
haven't
9.
started
How do you know?
because I haven't heard them. You'll hear them.
This is so stupid, it won't focus.